Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. You know we love to get our hands dirty with some deep dives into all sorts of fascinating source material. And today we're going to be tackling personal finance.
Ooh, fun.
Yes. And this is a classic. This is a book called 52 Simple Ways to Manage Your Money by Judith Martindale and Mary J. Moses.
Okay.
And this book was originally published back in 1994.
Wow.
I know it's been around for a while, but don't let that scare you, because the principles that they talk about in this book are really timeless.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was updated in 1999, but I mean, we're talking about almost 25 years ago.
Right.
And so we're going to be tackling the first 24 chapters of this book today. And it's kind of structured like a weekly workout for your finances.
I like that.
Yeah. So 52 chapters, 52 weeks in a year.
Makes sense.
Each one tackling a different aspect of your personal finances. And I think we can gain a lot of insight from this.
Yeah, and like you said, even though it was written a while ago, like a lot of these principles are very timeless. So it'll be interesting to see how they hold up today.
Absolutely. And now Judith Martindale, she's a certified financial planner.
Okay.
And Mary J. Moses had a long career in personnel management, so they bring some serious expertise to the table.
Yeah, they know what they're talking about for sure.
They do. And, they start off strong with a simple yet powerful concept. And this is in the very first chapter. Pay attention.
Okay.
I like that. It's kind of like a wake-up call, right?
Yeah, just like a reminder to be present with your money, I guess.
Exactly. Because, most of us go through life earning money and spending money without really noticing our financial habits.
Right. We're not really paying attention to where it's all going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so by paying attention, we gain that awareness of where our money is going and how our decisions impact our financial well-being.
It's like mindfulness, but for your money.
Yes, exactly.
Instead of being on autopilot, you're like actually making conscious choices.
Absolutely. And, the book really encourages self-reflection from the get-go. Like they ask some really thought-provoking questions like, how have you dealt with money in the past? What are your criteria for making financial decisions?
Ooh, that's good.
It's really interesting to think about.
Yeah, it's like taking a step back and examining your relationship with money.
Yes. Like holding up a mirror to your habits.
Exactly, because everyone's relationship with money is different. Like some people might view it as a source of stress.
Right.
Others might view it as like security or freedom.
Yeah.
And once you understand your own unique perspective, you can start making like more intentional choices.
Absolutely. And that leads us to the next big idea, and I think this is where it gets exciting. Letting money work for you.
Oh, I like that.
Yes. So instead of, constantly chasing money or worrying about money, you start to view it as a tool to help you create the life you want.
Yeah, like shifting your perspective from money being the goal to it being like a means to an end.
Exactly.
I like that.
And a big part of that is setting goals. And they dedicate a whole chapter to this in the book.
Okay.
And they emphasize the need for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals.
They really break it down.
They do. They do. And it's so important because it's easy to say, oh, I want to be financially secure or I want to, be wealthy. But what does that actually mean?
Right. You need to have like a clear vision of what you're actually working towards.
Exactly. And to help you with that, they even suggest reading biographies of successful people and learning how they set and achieve their goals.
Oh, that's interesting.
I love that idea because you get to kind of like peek into the playbook.
Yeah, like learn from the best.
Yes, exactly. So we've got the mindset down.
Okay.
Now let's talk tools.
Let's do it.
Chapter 5 dives into budgeting, but not the kind that makes you want to like run for the hills.
Oh, good, because I think a lot of people have a negative association with budgeting. It's like this restrictive thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be that way.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And the book emphasizes that it's about creating a budget that's realistic,
Okay.
easy to live with, and helps you find a balance between enjoying your money today and saving for tomorrow.
So it's like finding that sweet spot between living in the present and planning for the future.
Exactly. It's not about deprivation.
Right.
It's about making conscious choices and really kind of understanding where your money's going.
So it's more like a tool for empowerment rather than restriction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they have this great concept in the book called the split second that counts.
Okay. What is that?
That's that moment when you're about to make a purchase.
Oh, okay.
And, they highlight the importance of mindful decision making in those moments.
Yeah, because that's when it really matters, right? Like when you're actually about to spend the money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you can have a budget, you can have all these plans, but if you're not mindful in that moment,
It all goes out the window.
It all goes out the window.
So it's like being present in those like little decisions.
Yes. And they even suggest analyzing your past financial decisions to recognize patterns in your buying and selling behaviors.
That's interesting.
So it's kind of like, okay, what have I done in the past? What are those triggers?
Yeah, what are those like spending traps that you might fall into?
Exactly. And so once you can see those patterns, then you can start to make more conscious choices in those split-second moments.
It's like breaking those bad habits.
Yes, exactly. And so the next two tools that they introduce, and these are really important for kind of understanding your financial picture, are the cash flow statement and the net worth statement.
All right, let's break this down.
Yes, can you kind of explain the difference between those two?
Sure. So the cash flow statement, it's basically like a financial GPS, right? It's tracking the money coming in and going out each month.
Okay.
So you can see where your money is actually going and then identify any areas where you might be overspending.
Like a reality check for your finances.
Exactly, yeah. And then the net worth statement is kind of like a snapshot of your financial situation at a specific point in time.
Gotcha.
So it lists all your assets, which is what you own, and all your liabilities, which is what you owe.
Okay.
And it gives you like a clear picture of your overall financial standing.
I love that. And I remember in the book, they had this great tip about using garage sale prices when you're valuing your personal possessions for your net worth statement.
Oh, that's smart.
Right. Because we tend to overestimate the value of our stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like that old couch you've had for years.
Exactly.
You're not going to get what you paid for it.
Right. So it's really about being honest with yourself.
Yeah, being realistic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've covered mindset, goals, and some basic financial tools.
We've laid a good foundation.
We have now. Now what about those inevitable money challenges that we all face?
Ooh, yeah. Those are the tough ones.
Chapter 9 tackles this head on with the idea of letting go.
Letting go. Right.
And this goes deeper than just like decluttering your home. It's about addressing any unresolved issues, maybe from your childhood or just past experiences that might be affecting your financial habits.
So it's like acknowledging that our relationship with money can be emotional.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need to let go of those old beliefs and patterns that are holding us back.
Yeah, like those money scripts we've been carrying around without even realizing it.
Exactly. And so this is a really important chapter to kind of dig into and see if there are any underlying issues that might be, contributing to your current financial situation.
It's like addressing the root cause instead of just the symptoms.
Exactly. And so, we've talked about kind of laying a strong foundation with our finances.
Right. Getting our mindset right.
Yes.
Understanding our habits.
Uh-huh.
And then what about boosting our income?
Yes. And that's what the next chapter is all about.
All right, let's talk about making more money.
Yes. Chapter 10 is titled, Here It Is, Eureka, Extra Money.
I love it.
And it's all about finding those hidden opportunities to increase your disposable income.
Okay, so what are some of their tips? Like, how do we find this extra money?
Well, they encourage us to look at reducing expenses.
Okay.
So think of it as trimming the fat from your budget.
Okay.
Really being mindful about what you're spending your money on and seeing if there are areas where you can cut back.
Makes sense.
And then they also talk about generating additional income streams.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes. So, maybe there's a hobby you can monetize or skills that you can offer as freelance services.
Yeah, like tapping into your side hustle potential.
Exactly. It's about being resourceful and finding creative ways to bring in more income.
I love that. It's not just about like working harder at your current job.
Right.
It's about thinking outside the box.
Absolutely. And speaking of resourcefulness,
Yes.
the book also highlights the importance of negotiation in chapter 12. Trading ants for elephants.
Oh, that's a cool title.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And they encourage us to, negotiate better prices and terms in everyday life.
Okay.
Whether we're buying a car or furniture or even services.
So it's like becoming a better advocate for yourself.
Exactly. It's about getting the best possible deals and not being afraid to, ask for what you want.
Right, because you never know unless you ask.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And do they have any tips for becoming a better negotiator?
Yeah, they suggest starting small.
Okay.
So practice on less important purchases before tackling those big ticket items.
Gotcha.
And it's really about building your confidence and honing your negotiation skills over time.
That's a great strategy because I think a lot of people are afraid to negotiate.
Yeah, it can feel intimidating.
Yes.
But the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Exactly. So, we've talked about earning more and spending less.
Okay.
But what about when we need to borrow money?
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other topic.
It is. Chapter 13 addresses that head on with the title, No Free Lunch Today.
Okay, makes sense.
And it's all about borrowing responsibly.
All right, so being smart about debt.
Yes. Understanding interest rates,
Okay.
prepayment penalties,
Right.
repayment plans,
All the important stuff.
all the fine print.
Because it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a purchase.
Yes.
And not really think about the long-term costs of borrowing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, they even caution against borrowing from personal sources
Oh, yeah.
and the potential strain it can put on relationships.
It's tricky.
It is.
So borrowing can be helpful when used wisely,
Yes.
but it's important to be aware of those potential downsides.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked about, borrowing responsibly, but what happens when things get a little out of hand?
All right, when it goes beyond just like a little bit of debt.
Yes. Yeah.
That's where chapter 14 comes in. And it's appropriately titled, Where Did It All Go?
Okay.
It tackles overspending.
Ah, yes, the dreaded overspending.
You have all been there, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So what are some of the red flags that we should watch out for?
They list a few warning signs, like using credit cards to pay off other credit cards.
Oh, yeah.
Consistently borrowing money from friends, and even relying on like emotional spending as a coping mechanism.
Oh, yeah. Retail therapy.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So it's important to recognize those patterns
Yes.
before they spiral into a bigger problem.
Absolutely. So what are some practical strategies for getting overspending under control?
Well, they suggest developing a realistic budget
Okay.
and actually sticking to it.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Right. But it can be really effective.
Yeah.
They also recommend seeking support,
Okay.
like from groups like Overspenders Anonymous,
Right.
or even working with a therapist to address like any underlying emotional issues
Yeah.
that might be contributing to the overspending.
It's really getting to the root of the problem.
Exactly. It's not just about the money, it's about like your overall well-being.
Yes, absolutely. Now let's talk about credit cards.
Ooh, the double-edged sword.
Yes. They can be both friend and foe, right?
Absolutely. Chapter 15, Friend or Foe, explores this.
Okay.
So credit cards offer convenience. They offer purchase protection, and they help you build your credit score.
Uh-huh.
But high interest rates and the temptation to overspend
Oh, yeah.
can lead to a mountain of debt.
Absolutely. So how do you strike that balance?
It's about being a savvy credit card user.
Okay.
Analyze your spending patterns,
Uh-huh.
compare interest rates,
Okay.
and set limits to avoid falling into that debt trap.
So really being mindful and intentional with your credit card use.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in terms of managing our day-to-day finances.
The nuts and bolts.
Yes. Now let's kind of shift gears a little bit and talk about investing and planning for the future.
Ooh, the fun stuff.
I know, right? This is where it gets exciting.
Yeah, building that wealth.
Exactly. So chapter 16, we all have our toys, dives into the emotional aspects of money,
Okay.
and particularly the tendency to use shopping or collecting as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, like trying to fill a void with stuff.
Exactly. And I think we're all guilty of this to some extent, whether it's clothes or gadgets or whatever it is.
It's like that dopamine hit
It is.
of buying something new.
And the book encourages us to, become more aware of these patterns
Okay.
and find healthier, more fulfilling ways to meet our emotional needs.
Yeah, like finding joy and satisfaction outside of material possessions.
Absolutely. So we've talked about overspending, but what about underspending?
Underspending, is that a thing?
It is. Chapter 17, Don't Even Ask, addresses this issue. And it's basically when fear or limiting beliefs lead to unnecessary deprivation.
Oh, okay, so these are the people who like hoard their money,
Uh-huh.
but they never actually enjoy it.
Right, they're afraid to spend it.
They're stuck in that scarcity mindset.
Yes. And the book emphasizes the importance of, finding a balance
Okay.
between saving for the future and enjoying life in the present.
So it's not just about like penny pinching all the time.
Right. You have to enjoy life too.
Yeah, find that balance.
Absolutely. And I think that leads nicely into the next chapter, which tackles a fear that I think a lot of us share. Losing money.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big one.
It is chapter 18, Worst Case Scenario, really addresses this head on.
Okay.
And the fear of losing money can be so paralyzing.
Right, it prevents you from taking risks.
Exactly. And so how do we overcome that fear?
Well, the book encourages us to face our fears,
Okay.
create contingency plans,
Sure.
do our research,
Uh-huh.
and address any unresolved emotional issues that we might have around money.
So again, getting to the root of the problem.
Exactly. It's about being prepared,
Yes.
but not letting fear dictate our choices.
Right. It's about having a plan, but also having the courage to take action.
I like that. Being prepared, but also being brave.
Exactly. And speaking of action, Chapter 20 focuses on a really crucial step in our financial journey,
Oh, okay.
and that's seeking professional help.
Okay, so knowing when to call in the experts.
Exactly. The chapter is titled When and How to Go for Help,
Okay.
and it offers guidance on choosing financial advisors.
So it's like having a financial coach in your corner.
Exactly. Yeah. And they suggest seeking professional help,
Yeah.
when your financial situation becomes more complex,
Okay.
when you need specialized expertise, or when you just want an objective perspective.
Yeah, someone to bounce ideas off of.
Exactly. Do they have any tips for finding the right advisor?
Yeah, they recommend asking for recommendations,
Okay.
interviewing multiple candidates,
Uh.
and making sure their expertise aligns with your needs.
So finding someone you trust and who understands your goals.
Exactly. It's a partnership.
It is.
So communication is key.
Absolutely. So we've talked about, getting help from advisors, but what about pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zones?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, Chapter 21 tackles this head on, and it's got this playful title.
Okay.
Eek, you want me to do what?
I love it.
I know, it's great, and it's all about, taking calculated risks to achieve your financial goals.
Okay, so not just being reckless.
Right, but doing so with clear boundaries and limits.
So like having a safety net.
Exactly. And it's about taking things one step at a time,
Okay.
gradually expanding your comfort zone as you gain experience and confidence.
Makes sense.
Now let's talk about protecting our loved ones.
Okay, an important topic.
Yes, Chapter 22, It's My Life, dives into the often daunting topic of life insurance.
All right, let's talk about it.
Yes, and they emphasize, understanding the different types of life insurance, the costs and the benefits.
Okay.
They also stress the importance of getting advice from multiple advisors before making a decision.
So do your research.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't just jump into the first policy that you see.
Right, shop around.
Exactly. And it's about ensuring that your loved ones are financially secure in the event of your death.
Yeah, it's providing that peace of mind.
Exactly. And it's an important part of a comprehensive financial plan.
For sure, especially if you have dependents.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about building a financial safety net.
Okay.
Chapter 23, Where's the Chocolate? Focuses on the importance of emergency funds.
Ooh, I like that title.
I know, it's a good one, right?
Yeah.
And emergency funds provide that peace of mind
Okay.
and financial security,
Yeah.
in unexpected situations like job loss, medical emergencies, car repairs.
The what ifs of life.
Exactly. Those unexpected things that pop up.
Yeah, you never know when you're going to need it.
You don't. And they recommend setting aside 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a separate account.
Okay, so like a rainy day fund.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. It's like having that little stash of chocolate,
I love that analogy.
to get you through those tough times.
And you want to make sure that chocolate is easily accessible.
Absolutely. You don't want to have to jump through hoops
All right.
when you need it.
Exactly.
Okay, we're in the home stretch now.
Yep.
Chapter 24. Squirrel It Away
Okay.
introduces us to certificates of deposit, or CDs.
All right, I see these.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these are considered a relatively safe investment, right?
They are, yeah. They offer a guaranteed rate of return for a
That's all.
fixed period of time.
Gotcha.
And they're FDIC insured, so your principal is protected.
But they also come with some drawbacks,
Yeah,
right?
they do, yeah. Generally, the returns are lower than other investment options, and there are penalties for early withdrawals.
Oh, okay. So you really have to commit.
Yeah, so CDs are best suited for short-term savings goals
Oh.
or for people who are very risk-averse.
Right. It's all about choosing investments that align with your risk tolerance, your time horizon, and your financial goals.
Exactly. Find the right fit for you.
Absolutely. And that sets the stage nicely for the next part of our deep dive,
Okay.
where we'll delve into the world of diversification and explore different investment strategies to help you build a brighter financial future.
I'm excited.
All right, so welcome back to the deep dive. We are wrapping up our exploration of the first half of 52 simple ways to manage your money. And I'm really enjoying this book.
Me too. It's really holding up well, I think.
Yeah, even though it was published a while back, it's packed with timeless wisdom.
Yeah, definitely.
We've covered so much ground, from understanding our relationship with money to setting goals, creating a budget, and even tackling those money challenges that we all face.
Yeah, we've really laid a solid foundation.
We have, and now it's time to step into the world of investing.
Okay, let's do it.
And starting with a key principle, diversification.
Okay.
And chapter 25 really drives this point home with a simple analogy. don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Oh, yeah. Classic advice.
Right. And for good reason, because by spreading your investments across different asset classes like stocks, bonds, real estate, you reduce your risk of big losses if one area takes a hit.
Makes sense, like not having all your money tied up in one thing.
Exactly. It's like building a sturdy financial house, with a strong foundation that can weather any storm.
I like that analogy.
And speaking of building a strong portfolio, Chapter 26 introduces us to mutual funds.
Okay, mutual funds.
What are your thoughts on these as an investment option?
I think they're a fantastic way to diversify, especially if you're not starting with a huge amount of capital.
Right.
Because they pool money from multiple investors.
Okay.
To buy a diverse range of assets, so you get instant diversification.
So even if you're just starting out, you can still benefit from the power of spreading your risk.
Exactly. And there's a mutual fund out there for just about any investment strategy you can think of.
Oh, wow.
So whether you're looking for growth income or a specific sector focus, you're likely to find a fund that aligns with your goals.
That's great to hear. Now, the book then dives into bond funds, specifically tax-free and taxable options in chapters 27 and 28.
Okay.
So this can be a bit confusing. So can you kind of break down the key differences for us?
Sure. So tax-free bond funds, also known as municipal bond funds, they invest in bonds issued by state and local governments.
Okay.
And the big perk is that the interest you earn on these bonds is often exempt from federal income tax.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes even state and local taxes.
That sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
It can be, especially for people in higher tax brackets.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, you have taxable bond funds, which invest in a wider range of bonds.
Okay.
Including corporate bonds, U.S. Treasury bonds, and mortgage-backed securities.
Gotcha.
These don't come with the same tax advantages as tax-free bonds, but they do offer a broader range of investment options.
So choosing the right bond fund really depends on your individual circumstances.
Yeah.
Your risk tolerance and your tax situation.
Exactly. It's all about finding the right fit for your overall financial goals.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the first half of 52 simple ways to manage your money.
Wow, it went by fast.
I know, right? It's been a fascinating journey through the fundamentals of personal finance.
Yeah, for sure.
And we've covered so much ground.
We really have.
Hopefully this deep dive has given you a better understanding of how to approach your own finances and the tools and strategies available to help you achieve your financial goals.
Yeah, it's all about empowerment.
It is. And, personal finance is an ongoing journey. It's not a destination.
Right, it's a lifelong process.
Exactly. It's about making informed decisions, adapting to changing circumstances, and never being afraid to seek guidance when you need it.
And remembering that it's okay to ask for help.
Yes, absolutely. And while we've only covered the first half of the book, there's still a wealth of wisdom to uncover in those remaining chapters.
Oh, yeah. There's so much more to explore.
Like real estate investing,
yeah,
retirement planning, estate planning, all that good stuff.
I can't wait.
But for now, we encourage you to take a moment and reflect on what we've discussed today.
Yeah, think about what resonated with you.
What key takeaways stuck out? And what small step can you take today to apply what you've learned to your own financial life?
Yeah, even a small step can make a big difference over time.
Absolutely. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of personal finance.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep striving for financial well-being.
We'll see you next time.